And we are live. Take two, Toronto Stevie live. And let me tell you, the backlash to the Friday night Smackdown, I cannot believe I haven't seen this. I can't recall the last time there's been this kind of backlash towards a storyline reveal, particularly at Wrestlemania season. But let's get into it. WWE Smackdown Summary. This is Toronto Stevie Live. Like and subscribe to my channel. Give me some comments and let me know what you think. We actually got my very first comment, and I haven't even started the thing. So let's read it, shall we? It says, it's Anthony Chobo. How are you doing today, by the way? Happy Easter. So yes, it is Easter Sunday, or now it's getting into Easter Monday. Chobo, Anthony Chobo, nice to see you. Let me know what you think about this Pat McAfee situation, because I wanted to get into this yesterday, but got interrupted. Smackdown. Well, his comment can be capsulized in two words: Smackdown sucked. And let's get into why Smackdown sucked and why this backlash towards Smackdown has occurred. Smackdown came from St. Louis, Missouri. The backwards, upside down storyline of Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton continues. Randy's music hits. He comes down to the ring. The St. Louis fans are chanting Randy's name. And he gets in the ring. He's happy. He's got a microphone. I think he says, it's no secret. This is his hometown. He was, as a very young man, he was raised there, and he still calls St. Louis home. And the next time you see him, he's going to have his 15th world title around his waist. But then he goes off and he says, I'm not doing this for you. I'm not doing this. I'm doing this for myself and for my family. My real home is not St. Louis. It's for the 6 people in the front row. And then the camera cuts to, I'm assuming it was Randy Orton's family sitting in the front row. And he says at WrestleMania 42, he's going to walk out of Vegas with the undisputed WWE Championship around his waist. Cody Rhodes, whether he walks, crawls, is carried out, or stretchered out of Las Vegas, he's going to go home empty-handed. So this, this was like a very good, he's getting the babyface reaction, even though he's supposed to be the heel in this promo or in this storyline. And he says, Cody, you gave me your blessing. It's not personal between us. So you told me to be the Viper, to be the best version of myself. And you can listen to the voices. All these probably well-written storyline. He makes reference to what happened on Raw with Stephanie McMahon. And basically says he agrees with Stephanie that Cody can't beat him. And then this eventually does bring out Cody Rhodes. Cody comes down to the ring and doesn't even bother to start talking. Instead, he just starts fighting Randy Orton, starts beating him down. And when he beats him down in the corner, of course, the St. Louis crowd starts booing Cody Rhodes. And this is where things take a turn, because out comes who? Pat McAfee wearing a Randy Orton shirt. So Pat, doing his best John Cena impersonation, kicks Cody in the balls. And this allows Randy Orton to get the upper hand and beat down Cody Rhodes. I think he even got a chair and hit Cody with a chair and beat him down with that. But the crowd really wasn't dumb. I guess this was supposed to make Randy even more of a heel, but the crowd was with Randy on this, and they didn't they didn't give WWE the reaction I think that they thought they were gonna get. Nick Aldis and his security team came down and they tried to break this up, but Cody just kept hitting people with the chair. And then, again, they probably thought this was a good idea, but no. Pat McAfee gets a microphone and he cuts a promo and he says, Orton called him and told him the business didn't pass him by. It just went in a direction they didn't like. He says that he admits that he was the one on the phone, and he says, the ones who walked around and said, he talks about the Attitude Era. He makes a reference to The Rock, the fans who in the company. If you smell the fans who put this company on their backs to launch it into a multi-billion-dollar universe, they've been forgotten about. Why is it when he turns on a WWE TV, he sees two 5'5" wrestlers do a 45-minute match for 5 weeks straight when Randy Orton is around? Why does he turn on Netflix and sees all of the gorilla bumping? Oh, yeah, I think they bleep something out here. He mentions that Wrestlemania tickets are slow when Randy Orton's around. And Smackdown, fresh off the worst rated episode of all time, has a puppet for a champion. A man who represents everything that they hate. Anyway, Pat puts over Randy Orton, and he basically says he was the one on the phone who told Randy Orton to kill everything because the business that Cody Rhodes is leading is terrible, and Orton will have to save the business. Anyway, so Pat McAfee. So my understanding, and I read this online, I don't know if this is true, but my understanding is that this was a Netflix call. This was not a WWE call to insert Pat McAfee, because maybe they assume Pat McAfee will bring some mainstream attention to the Randy Orton, Cody Rhodes storyline. Maybe it'll sell some tickets, but I guess most of the backlash is coming from inside WWE, from all these, or not from inside WWE, but from like podcasters, everybody who reviews WWE SmackDown, including Anthony Chobo himself, saying SmackDown sucked. This storyline with Cody Rhodes and Pat McAfee probably is not going the exact way that they thought it was going to go. Anyway, I just can't believe, like I said, this storyline really didn't need Pat McAfee. And I've also read, actually, I think I was reading just yesterday that there's a possibility of a double turn, that it certainly seems that when this match does occur, the fans are going to boo Cody Rhodes and they're going to cheer Randy Orton. And it's just possible that this could actually lead to a double turn, similarly to the Bret Hart, Stone Cold Steve Austin double turn at WrestleMania. We'll see if that comes to fruition, and whether or not Cody, turns heel and, I don't know, sides with Triple H and Stephanie, or what happens, and Randy is, they've got to have Randy as the babyface, or if they make a call in the ring. You remember the Hulk Hogan versus The Rock, WrestleMania 18 that I saw live. They made a call in the ring. Maybe they're going to have to do the same thing with this. We'll have to see. But the backlash is incredible. Pat McAfee, gotta tell you, bud, you made a mistake. You really should not have been inserted into the storyline. And to use a phrase from Cody Rhodes, nobody wants to talk about Pat McAfee. So let's get down to the rest of the show. Coming back from the commercial break, we get the opening match of the night was Rhea Ripley versus Michin. Michin has B-Fab in her corner, and at some point, Jade Cargill, the women's champion, comes down to the ring. And this one kind of went similar to the one against B-Fab, only this time Rhea Ripley was able to hit the Riptide, and no, she didn't hit the Riptide. She tried to hit the Riptide, but Michin got out of it. She hit the Eat Defeat, but then when she went to pin Rhea Ripley, Rhea kicked out Michin. She then got caught in the Prism Trap, and Michin tapped out, and Rhea Ripley won the match. But much like last week, B-Fab and Michin then attacked Rhea Ripley, allowing Jade Cargill to hit the Jaded on Rhea Ripley again, and they left Rhea Ripley laying in the ring again. I'm still holding true to my prediction. I think Rhea Ripley is going to win the belt at WrestleMania, and maybe continue on the feud with Jade Cargill post WrestleMania. So backstage, you have Matt Cardona. There's a segment with Matt Cardona with Aleister Black and Zelina, and now it certainly seems that there's a lot of backstage segments where you basically see Aleister Black, and I think he's wrestling, but they talk about the beatdown that Matt Cardona got from Randy Orton the previous week. Elsewhere backstage, you have Solo Sikoa and the MFTs, and Solo Sikoa is looking for somebody to take on Uncle Howdy, and he wants somebody to step up. So Tama Tonga decides to step up. He basically tells Solo Sikoa, ever since you got that lantern, things have been pretty bad for the MFTs. And he basically wants to just give the lantern back to Uncle Howdy. But Solo is kind of wondering, what are you talking about, dude? Anyway, coming back from the commercial break, yet another backstage segment. Kathy Kelly is interviewing Rhea Ripley. And Rhea is then she says that she's got friends, and after the beatdown from the three, Jade Cargill and Michin and B-Fab, Io Sky came down to the ring and helped out, and so Io Sky came over from Raw to help out Rhea Ripley, and it certainly looks like she may be involved in the WrestleMania match. Some people have speculated that Io Sky would turn on Rhea Ripley, but I can't see this happening, mainly because they're on separate shows, and it would make no sense. But then again, this is WWE, where a lot of things don't make any sense. But I'm really hoping that Io Sky does not turn on Rhea Ripley. So we finally get another match. It is Uncle Howdy versus Tama Tonga. And at one point, Solo Sikoa came down to the ring to try to help out Tama Tonga. But the distraction allowed Uncle Howdy to hit the Sister Abigail on Tama Tonga, pinning 1, 2, 3, and he wins the match. Then, as he got out of the ring, Solo got into the ring and basically had an argument with Tama Tonga. Tama Tonga basically then just took the lantern and just gave it back to Uncle Howdy. So Uncle Howdy got that's the conclusion of the storyline. I'm assuming that Uncle Howdy gets the lantern back. Backstage segment, Kit Wilson is with The Miz, and he's still talking about that the curse that Danhausen put on him. And they are met by R-Truth, and R-Truth he does this segment where he's looking for memberships to the Judgment Day, and the Miz tells him that I think he makes a reference to when they were a tag team, and R-Truth basically says that he'll go talk to Nick Aldis and there'll be a tag team title match tonight. Coming back from the commercial break, there's a Jacob Fatu video. Elsewhere backstage, Sami Zayn is with Nick Aldis, and he basically mentions, he had to step up and win the title so that he could get a match at WrestleMania. They talk about his upcoming match with Trick Williams, but apparently Sami Zayn wants to have another match, a challenge match, before, or was actually Carmelo wants a rematch before that, and eventually Sami Zayn agrees to it. So Trick Williams basically announces that Little Yachty, and believe me, I have no idea who this guy is, will be with Trick at WrestleMania. So they're promoting the United States title match, but Trick basically he did come down to the ring for this match. I'm not sure, or maybe he just stayed backstage. I can't remember. But so we get Carmelo Hayes and there was another segment with Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams. They mentioned a brief mention of their history in NXT. And this is when Carmelo does actually challenge Sami Zayn to the match later on tonight. And this eventually does become the main event segment of Smackdown. Coming back for the commercial break, we get Aleister Black versus Matt Cardona. And Matt Cardona really has just been used as a job guy, ever since he came back to WWE. Really, I guess WWE really needs job guys. They need somebody who can take a lot of bumps, take a lot of opponents' moves, put them over. A lost art in professional wrestling, but I guess Matt Cardona fits that bill. And same thing here. Aleister Black hit the Black Mass on Cardona, pinned him 1, 2, 3, and wins the match. Immediately go backstage. Kathy Kelly is interviewing Bayley and Lyra Valkyria, and they're having a tag team match, I think, against Charlotte and Alexa Bliss. Coming back from the commercial break, R-Truth is now with Johnny Gargano and Candice LeRae. Now that Ciampa is in AEW, and Johnny Gargano has kind of been again used backstage mostly. There's a video package of Drew McIntyre cutting a promo on his unsanctioned match against Jacob Fatu. And then when we get back to the ring, finally, there's the tag team match, Charlotte and Alexa versus Bayley and Lyra. And actually, I think it was Lyra taking the pin in this one. There was like a double natural selection. I think Alexa after a double natural selection. Alexa pinned Lyra and got the win. So the winners of the match were Charlotte and Alexa. And at some point during this match, they mentioned that Nikki Bella was injured, that she was going to, and I don't know whether that this will have any effect on the WrestleMania match, but they did mention at one point that Nikki Bella was injured. So coming back for the commercial break is the WWE Tag Team Championship match. R-Truth and Damian Priest defending the titles against The Miz and Kit Wilson. At one point during this match, Danhausen came down to the ring, got into the corner, and basically asked asked The Miz for a tag, even though he wasn't in the tag team title match. So instead, R-Truth tagged him in. Danhausen came in, but the referee basically told him to, and The Miz told him to leave because he wasn't part of the match. I think The Miz hit the skull-crushing finale on R-Truth, but then the referee so when Danhausen was in the ring, he was going to put the curse on The Miz, but then The Miz grabbed the referee and threw the referee into Danhausen, or put him, he hid behind him, and basically Danhausen put the curse on the referee. So later in the match, after Danhausen had left, The Miz put the skull-crushing finale on R-Truth, went for the pinfall, but the referee, he counts 1, he counts 2, and then his arm mysteriously gets into pain due to the curse, and he's unable to count the 3 count, allowing Damian Priest to hit the South of Heaven and cover and pin and get the win. So this was a goofy way to end this match, but what do you know? So but immediately after this match was over, Truth and Priest took a powder. I think The Miz did too, because Cody Rhodes came down to the ring. He hit a crossroads on Kit Wilson, and then he grabbed a microphone and cuts a promo on Pat McAfee and Randy Orton. He said, Randy Orton talking to Pat McAfee on the phone was like Scott Hall and Kevin Nash bringing the Disco Inferno in as the third man in place of Hulk Hogan. He calls Pat McAfee a stoner and says that maybe a Logan Paul wannabe, but it says I think he I think he just basically tells he basically tells everybody to kiss his ass, and then says, well, what are you gonna do, fire me? And he asks Randy, what do you want for your legacy? He says his mentor, when John Cena was the angel on his shoulder, Orton was the devil. He keeps saying it's not personal, even when Stephanie McMahon tells him he needs to go to a dark place. He cuts this promo on, cuts this promo, and then he just gets out of the ring. Anyway, coming back from the commercial break, they finally get to the main event segment. Sami Zayn defending the title against Carmelo Hayes. Trick Williams and Little Yachty are at ringside, and this one went through a couple of commercial breaks, but it was eventually Sami Zayn who I think hit the haluva kick and pinned Carmelo and pinned him 1, 2, 3 to retain the title. But as soon as that was over, Little Yachty and Trick Williams got into the ring, and basically it was Trick hitting the trick shot on Sami Zayn and leaving him laying. He then grabs the United States title belt, and SmackDown goes off the air with Trick and Little Yachty standing over Sami Zayn. So that was WrestleMania. That was SmackDown, the SmackDown episode. It really, a lot of backstage segments, and it was really, a fail. They've been building up for weeks, a few weeks, Randy Orton talking to somebody on the phone, and much like and I would even compare this to the reveal of Danhausen in the box. What's in the box? It was Danhausen. Same thing with this. Pat McAfee is being revealed as the person on the phone. A lot of people, I know I've been not necessarily listening to a lot of podcasts, but listening to a lot of reaction to some people on YouTube and on podcasts, no like for any of this. This has just been really bad. So like, and it's only 2 weeks until WrestleMania, and they had this, and so like, I don't know. There's a lot of people. There's a lot. Um, I stand by my what I said before about night one of WrestleMania. I think that people are gonna forget whether it's Randy winning the belt or Cody retaining the belt, double turns, whatever. And by the time CM Punk versus Roman Reigns happens on night 2 of WrestleMania, night 1 will be forgotten. Maybe they'll think maybe on the Smackdown after WrestleMania they'll bring it up again, but this was a colossal failure. So we'll see what happens within the next 2 weeks. They've got 2 more episodes of Raw and 2 more episodes of SmackDown before WrestleMania. Whatever they do, but let me know what you think. Let me know what you thought of Pat McAfee being revealed as the person on the phone. Make a comment, like it, subscribe, and take 2 of the SmackDown summary went through just fine. So this is Toronto Stevie Live saying thank you and good night, and we'll see you. See you possibly on In Your Head Wrestling Radio Tuesday night. I may get on with a Raw report. Vic Schiavone wanted me to give a TNA report. I did start to watch TNA. Unfortunately, I didn't get to finish it. I might have to look it up and see if I can find it online and watch the rest of it. But this is Toronto Stevie saying good night, happy Easter, and that's all for me. Good night, everybody.